On the next all-new episode of Invincible Fight Girl. What is going on here? Who do you think you are?
You care so much about strength? Let's settle this with the match. No, not him.
We accept your challenge. Invincible Fight Girl. Next Saturday at midnight on Toonami. Next day on Max.
Greetings, students! It is time to start our first exam.
At the Easton Academy, where magic is everything.
Doesn't showing up in fireballs make you overheat and get all sweaty?
Hold your tongue! I am failing the both of you. Challenge my decision if you dare!
Hey, Professor. Not cool.
New student Mash Burn Dead's got a secret.
I'm not good with magic spells and stuff.
Why are you even here?
Luckily, what he lacks in magic skill, he makes up for in raw muscle.
I can have
I
you
know. But like how you can expel me whenever you want. I can bury you whenever I want.
Get pumped for the premiere of Mashal, Magic and Muscles, next Saturday night at 12:30. Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
Hello, welcome to Toonami Therapy. Today on October 31st of 2024, I'm Michael.
Yeah, hello, I'm Tommy.
Alright, and if you might notice the date, this is Halloween, so I think the trick-or-treaters, I don't know if this will matter on your end, but on my end, some of them are coming by. I'm not the one who's having to handle the door or anything, but you might hear some doorbell rings and some people going trick-or-treating in the background, although I don't think I've heard any for a bit, so I think at this point they're all done. Just wanted to mention that in case anyone hears anything there. Okay, so, well, Toonami was all just a bunch of reruns of Uzumaki, so we didn't really have anything to talk about there, but we did still watch the Toonami Rewind, and we watched our, regular non-Toonami series. Actually, we added one. ReZero's back, so the dub came out, so we're like, okay, let's watch this, and we watched the opening episode, all 90 minutes of it. but that'll come at the end. First, let's get through our Toonami Rewind series. We've decided to reorder things a little. We're going to put Toonami Rewind before the non-Toonami series going forward. Well, so it'll be regular Toonami, Toonami Rewind, non-Toonami in that order. But we have no regular Toonami to start it off, so maybe that seems a little bit of an awkward time to change it. Maybe, I don't know, you want to talk about Uzumaki again?
Nah, I don't have anything to add on it.
Okay. Neither do I, really. So, let's get into it. So, we got Sailor Moon episodes 30... Do I have the... right? Yeah, 36 and 37.
Yeah, so things have finally gotten serious with Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, who kind of gets captured and kind of gets brainwashed, I guess. I don't know how to say it. But yeah, so it's actually serious stuff going on in Sailor Moon. All of her friends are getting beat, but then she comes out and wins the battle. But now they have to try to get Tuxedo Mask to come back to the good side again because he's on the dark side. and yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, that was, I guess, the important stuff that happened, because otherwise it's just like, oh, hey, a monster possesses someone and they kill the monster and then the person is back to normal, and then we do that again.
Yeah.
Yep. It's interesting that that none of the characters seem to have any. I mean, I know they're like evil monsters, but none of the main characters seem to have any compunctions whatsoever with the fact they're just killing a bunch of beings, clearly sentient beings, even if they're bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, just a little weird thing there. Anyway, I don't know, that just popped into my mind. I don't really have too much else to say about that. We do have Naruto episode 34. So the big part is that we do see Kiba and his group. They managed to get the scroll that they need. And they happen to run across. Well, they don't really run across so much as they see Gaara, Kankuro, and Tamari's group, who gets in this fight with this other group who tries to kill Gaara, but Gaara's like, no, and takes no damage because the sand perfectly protects him, and then he just kills all of them. And so then Q and the others are like, yeah, let's not fight those guys. And then but both of those teams do make it to the final place. There is a mention among the proctors. Oh wow, the group from the Sand Village beat the previous record by a lot in managing to make it to there. So, yep, that's basically it. We also had a little bit with Naruto's group and stuff at the start, but the main thing was just basically Gaara killing some guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand why they had them do this event if it's this dangerous. Did they come to the realization that some people might end up dying from this?
Oh, I'm sure they did, because ninja work is really dangerous. It is something where you're constantly going to possibly be dying, so you kind of have to have the test involve a bunch of potential death and such.
You just have to sign a waiver, that's all.
Yeah. In terms of the episode itself, I really liked it. I thought this was a good way to introduce. We saw Gaara before, but we didn't really get too much out of him other than that he's kind of brooding and stuff. And this one, it's a good way to both show off his power and introduce his much more dark personality, which I thought was really good, because oh wow, how are people going to beat that crazy defense ability? So that was all pretty. So I don't know. I thought I really liked the episode on the whole.
Yeah. Could you just remind me? It's not a spoiler anymore now that Shippuden is over. Which one is the one who dies? Is it Neji, Hyuga, or Gaara?
It's I want to tell you, but I'm not 100% sure. I want to just spoil it for anyone who's listening. I'll just to be safe, I'll just tell you after the podcast. Remind me.
Okay. I know one of them died. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Okay. So. Anyway, yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention in regards to it is this was something that was a little weird. So when the guy attacks Gaara, he announced Senbon Rainstorm, and I'm thinking, well, that's weird. Why did you leave Senbon untranslated if you're going to say rainstorm? Because if you don't know what Senbon means, well, you'll probably recognize it more from Senbon Zakura from Bleach, or if you're more of a fan of Hitsune Miku, the song. But Senbon means 1,000. Senbon Zakura is 1,000 cherry trees. So
right.
So it's just weird that they just leave that untranslated, because it's just Senbon. It means 1,000. Just say 1,000 rainstorm. Why did they do that? Or if you didn't want to translate it all, just say like Joro Senbon, which is what it is. It's just such a weird thing. Anyone listening to it would hear Senbon and go, oh, okay, I guess it's like, maybe like the name of a technique or where they're from. No, it just means 1,000. And 1,000 rainstorm sounds way cooler too.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Although now that you mentioned the bleach attack, now it makes sense. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's it for Naruto. I thought it was pretty solid. I liked the way it introduced this information about the characters. Just a good introduction to Gaara. So I liked that. Okay. After that, Dragon Ball Z Kai episode 29, I think. Now, if I watched the right episode... I say this because I'm not 100%... I'm hoping I watched the right episode. I think I did. If so, that's 29. Basically, what happens is our heroes our heroes and Vegeta. I don't know if he counts as part of our heroes at this point, but they end up running against the Ginyu Force. Now, the good news for them is that the Ginyu Force decide, well, we're only going to fight them one at a time. Only one of us will be fighting. Convenient. So the guy they go up is this guy who has the power to freeze time when he holds his breath, and he also can just freeze you in place with his mind. Without needing to hold his breath. I'm not sure why he didn't lead with that one. But after he managed to immobilize Gohan and Krillin, Vegeta's just decides, this guy's lame anyway, and just kills him while he's distracted. So, yeah, that was basically it. I thought it was okay. When I describe what happened, I think, it didn't seem like that was that interesting of a fight, but it was okay. I thought it was decent.
My favorite part of the episode is when the Ginyu Force is all trying to decide who's going to go, and they all go rock, paper, scissors, and they say, tie, go again. Tie, go again. Tie, go again. They keep on ending in ties in their rock, paper, scissors, which that was really funny. You could like while not Goku, Gohan and Krillin are all getting all nervous, and you can hear them in the background going, "Tai, go again! Tai, go again!"
Yeah, the Ginyu Force are kind of funny, and even though they're like evil and ruthless, they're just so weirdly goofy sometimes. There's that. There's like the poses they always want to strike with each other. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the non-Toonami series we cover. And let's see. Okay, so we've got Spice and Wolf, Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf, episode 23.
Okay, so there's this whole controversy about the poison grain or something that supposedly they think Lawrence or that priest woman did it. So now they spend an entire episode talking about how they're going to escape, and then they go and try to escape while all the angry mob is at their door trying to destroy them, and they are on their way out. And for some reason, this priest girl or whatever she is, and her boyfriend, I don't know who he is, they have to go with Lawrence and Holo, and so they're escaping.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I really hope they don't actually just leave, because it'll really feel lame and anticlimactic if they just say, well, we can't solve the problem, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I agree.
even if they leave, they have to like come back at some point, because otherwise this whole thing will feel point. Unless I guess the point is to have these two new characters be important to the series or something. But even then, having them setting up this conflict and stuff, and having them all just say, "Well, we're out," just feels really anticlimactic. But I don't want to be complaining, because maybe they do have to stick around in the next episode and come up with a plan.
Yeah, I truly don't know. So that ought to be interesting.
Okay. I will say, in this episode, finally, they talk about a bunch of business stuff, and it actually makes sense and doesn't feel the comparison point to me is just a part in Food Wars where they just spend a bunch of time explaining how they made their dish. And when I read the manga, I just skip over those sections. And when it's the anime, I just kind of like, okay, I guess you say this stuff. But they weren't doing it this time. It wasn't, well, okay, here, the problem is we need to carry the 10 in order to establish the coefficient regarding the supply over the demand. And also, don't forget about inflation. Okay. Yeah, not too much else to say about that one. So we've got Yu Yu Hakusho episodes 14 and 15. So if you thought we were going to get a training arc, no, we just skip over all the training, really. I want to correct something. Last episode, I said that the training was going to be for 6 weeks, but they changed that. But it was originally something different. I got mixed up. In the dub, they say it's 6 months for some reason, even though in the original, it was 6 weeks. So I don't know why they expanded it so much. But in any event, Yusuke goes through some really grueling training with Genkai, then comes back. Then he and Kuwabara get told, yeah, there's another major problem going on. These evil guys at this like maze castle that's sealed away are basically turning people into zombies in order to blackmail us into letting them out. So you need to go in and beat them so that, we won't have to let them out, because, well, if everyone turns into zombies, that's bad. But then but we can't let the bad guys out either. Well, everyone turning into zombies isn't necessarily the worst thing. That happened in that episode of Space Dandy, and then it creates a utopia. Okay. Anyway, so Yusuke and Kuwabara insists on going along. They go there, they pick up Hiei and Kurama, which shouldn't be really surprised, who are, I guess, joining them now, which shouldn't be a surprise considering how prominently they are featured in the theme song in every single eye catcher that happens when it goes to commercial.
Right.
So they go into the castle. They have to go through this gate of betrayal where basically it comes down on you and all the people have to hold it up, and only one person can supposedly get through by betraying the rest. But Yusuke just tells Hiei, hey, you run over and just pull that switch thing for us to solve it. And Hiei does, and then it looks like he's betrayed them, but then he's like, nah, and saves them. Then they go on and, well, there's 4 main characters. There's 4 bad guys called the Saint Beasts. You do the math. So they come across the first one, and Kurama fights him. He's a guy who can, turn into, who's stone and can reform himself, but Kurama is just like, well, hang on, this one part of yours is like the core, and if I just destroy that, you die. And then they beat that guy, and then they go onward. So, do you want to say something first?
Yeah. So I know we've used this joke too many times, but yet again, he attacked its weak point for massive damage. We've used that one too much. But yeah, he uses the Vine Whip thing, which came from Bulbasaur. Actually, this is probably older than Pokemon anyway. So yeah, I enjoyed it even with these new characters who just suddenly showed up and like, hey, we're part of the main gang now. It's like, okay. And Botan too, uh it's hilarious how first when she does the whole explanation of how everything works right in front of Kurabara, and then like tries to pretend that she didn't like give away all this information to him, and and then she like calls them up in the middle of their, well, I forget who called who, but in the middle of their thing, and like she's out there fighting those bats with a baseball bat, and so yeah, yeah, the funniest moments of these episodes happen with her, but I thought it was funny and enjoyable, and I'm glad I didn't drop it yet. So there's that.
Yeah, I when I watch these episodes, because I didn't like the last two either, and I was thinking, oh, are my memories bad? Was this not? This is the part where it got more interesting. I'm like, oh yeah, these two episodes were fun. I liked them. I like having Hiei and Kurama around. I think having the four of them instead of just Yusuke and Kuwabara creates a better dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, definitely a considerable improvement over the previous arc, at least so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, one thing. This was a great joke. I liked it in the preview because the ending of the first episode has them, being crushed under that weight of that like gate of betrayal place, and I like how in the preview it opens up with Yusuke saying, "Okay, somehow, some way, we'll all escape from the gate of betrayal." But deep down, you probably knew that.
Yeah, I remember that too. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
you probably figured that out.
Yeah,
but then he was like, "This one, I'm not sure if we're gonna get through it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of miss the fact anime doesn't really seem to do that sort of those previews anymore where they have the character actually in character, like saying what will happen next. Actually, they've kind of just gotten rid of these sort of previews entirely. Like remember, like in the last. Like in the first few seasons of the first two seasons of Full Metal Panic, those always had like the preview stuff, and then when we got to Invisible Victory, it's just gone. There's no preview at all outside of I think just saying the name.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to be more serious, I guess, but I like those previews, and it's a shame we don't have more of those.
You actually to change the subject because I know you said you were watching the final season of Bleach. Do they have the previews in that? Because I know they had it in the original series.
No, they have like 10 seconds of a character saying phrases, and those phrases appearing in Japanese letters across the screen, and it like makes no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
So no, they don't really have a real preview.
Okay, because in the earlier episodes, I don't know if they did this all the way through the original anime because they those are the things they always cut out when they aired it on TV. But I know at least in the earlier stuff they had actual previews with like the characters actually saying what will happen next and such.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, so I was wondering if they were keeping that. So wait, how does that work exactly? Is what we're happening? Let me see if I understand it. Sorry, I don't have Hulu, so I didn't see that. I haven't been seeing these, but you have you hear the different characters say lines, and the text appears on screen as they say it.
I don't know who's saying it actually.
Okay.
It's a character. I'm not sure which character because you don't see the character on screen. And as they're speaking, there's Japanese characters that drop down from the top in like 3 different columns. And there's no translation given. and the phrases that they're saying are like, you know, complicated words that don't really make any sense out of context. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
I was wondering, I was trying to figure out if this was what, dang, was it Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works or Fate Zero that did this, or was it both? I remember for the previews, it would basically be a bunch of various bits of spoken dialogue from characters from the next episode, except none of it is presented with any context, and I think they actually did display what they were saying on screen in that. You know, that's like the thing, it's like, oh, this character said this, want to know the context? Find out next episode. So I was wondering if it was like that.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like that at all. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll look into that just to see what that's like. All right. So I guess it's Yu Yu Hakusho. Then we've got Oshinoko episode 19.
Okay, so now we get Kana and Akane acting together, and then we get a long flashback about Akane's history with Kana, which is very interesting, actually, for a flashback. This is like one flashback that I didn't shut off my brain during, like I do in One Piece. You know, like as soon as I see there's a flashback coming, I'm like, okay. But yeah, this was a flashback about how she really looked up to Kana, and she finally got to meet Kana, and basically they kind of didn't get along together too well. So now she has motivation to outact her, I guess. And so the two of them are coming together in the play and acting together. And I know it doesn't sound very interesting, but I was really intrigued by this whole episode. I thought it was a very good character development between Kana and Akane, because those are the two main girls of this series, and we get a lot of information about them and why they don't like each other. And I just thought it was really well done. You probably didn't like it as much as I did, but I enjoyed it.
Okay, well, they're not like the main two girls, because there's, you know, Ruby, obviously. But
Ruby's a main girl, but she hardly gets any screen time, you know? I mean, she should be featured more, but she isn't. So
Okay.
Kana and Akane get all the screen time. So yeah, Ruby definitely should be the main girl, but she just doesn't get the time.
Yeah, you got a point there. At least in this arc, she's not all that important.
Yeah.
The big issue, one of the issues I had is, again, because everyone's wearing like all these costumes and they're wearing wigs, in the play, I can't remember which person is Kana and which person is Akane. Because like they've got totally different hair stuff than normal. So I'm like, wait, okay, which one is Kana and which one is Akane? Because I can remember like personality wise, like who like stuff, but if they're on stage, unless it's explicitly stated, I can't remember who's which. Okay, in terms of the flashback, yeah, this worked out decent enough. It worked out. I'm trying to think of what to really say that you didn't already say. I think the flashback was a bit long, though, but I mean, I'd say it's not a One Piece flashback, but in fairness, One Piece flashbacks have the problem that they're padded out as much as the rest of the show. Though, to be fair, One Piece flashbacks also, even in the original manga, would go on for a while. Like, I cannot, what's his name? There's this guy, there's this bit in Wano where we have this really lengthy flashback for Odin, I think was his name, this one character, and it just goes on for like multiple chapters about their backstory. And I'm like, this will be so horrible to watch in the anime. Because it's already kind of lengthy.
When is that coming?
That would be. Let me actually check on that. How far along are we in it? We will not be there for a while, but it's somewhere midway through the Wano arc, I think, and that's exactly how many not sure. I'm not sure exactly when, but it's definitely going to be okay, so that's where that arc starts. We're at least 150 episodes away from that.
Oh, okay. Not that far.
Oh wait, it might not be quite that bad. I think I was looking at the wrong episode numbers for us. We've got yeah, it's still like going to be quite a while. Actually, no, I underestimated. We're on episode like 690 around, and Wano, the arc that this thing takes place in, starts episode 892. Now, I don't know. Now, Wano itself lasts until around episode 1088. So, yes, that is an arc that will be over 200. Man, my math is suffering all of a sudden. But yeah, it'll be about 200 episodes.
I don't think I'm going to be alive by the time we finish with One Piece. I don't think I'm going to make it. It's that long. I don't think I'll be around for that. So you'll have to carry on for me once once we reach episode 1200 or something.
Yeah, it's that'll be a while. I did mention it won't impact things on our end because we're so far behind, but like I said, I think last week, they're putting the One Piece anime on hiatus for several months. I guess because they realized even they can't pad things out long enough at this point to avoid catching up with the manga. Okay. Then we move on to ReZero, the premiere of the new season, the once again lengthy premiere of the new season. This whole thing is 90 minutes long. They decided to Oshinoko this, and having watched it, yeah, it made a lot of sense for them to decide, yeah, we're just going to do this all in one episode instead of making you have to go through 4 weeks of this before we get to the end. So to try to cover this as briefly, we cut forward a year from the end of the previous season. We get some updates on things that have happened since then. Our main characters end up being invited over to the water city of Pristella. Well, no, it's a Watergate city of Pristella. So they so Garfield, Otto, Subaru, and Amelia go off there because Anastasia, one of the other royal candidate people who we haven't seen since season 1, invited them there basically because they need, in order to get something, to be able to get Puck back, because he got all in the previous season. If you forgot, he basically expanded all his magical energy and is still like sleeping in that crystal, I think. So they go there. They end up, it turns out, all the other royal selection candidates are there. All of them, which we haven't seen since season 1 either. Well, no, that's not quite true. We saw some at the very beginning of season 2, but that's it. So basically, there's a whole lot of stuff with being introduced to all the characters that we haven't seen for a while. A bunch of stuff about their interactions, all sorts of things. We meet some new characters, and then in about the last 10 minutes of this, it decides, yeah, we should probably get to the plot now. And one of the Sin archbishops shows up, manages to basically apparently hypnotize everyone, including Subaru, into with there, and then they all die. And then Subaru gets warped back, and unfortunately for him, it seems the save point is about 10 minutes before what we just saw. So he's on a tight time limit this time. Whew. I know I skipped through a lot of stuff, but I can't go through everything.
Yeah. My favorite part, of course, was the part where Priscilla shows up and just decides to troll everyone by bringing in Reinhardt's father, I think it is.
Yes.
And Wilhelm's son. And like just to cause like a total rip between people, and she just does it just for amusement purposes. And you know, I think one of the reasons I like her is because she looks a lot like another character who from Food Wars who I liked a lot. And she resembles that character a lot. And not only physical appearance, but also in personality a little bit. Yeah. I thought this was very entertaining. I never found a moment where I wasn't really interested in it. I thought it was pretty interesting the whole way through. And I'm glad we got to a point where Subaru has to do something, because it would have felt like a waste of an episode had there not been one of these save points coming up. So now we got one, and now we know Subaru's got to figure things out fast. That's for sure.
Yeah, this whole episode, for the record, is this adapts the entirety of volume 16 of the light novel. And I mean, like, literally, the point this starts is where that starts, the point it ends is where that ends. And I think they kind of they decided to go into all that whole thing because, again, the episode is fine if you like see it all at once, or even if you kind of watch it in bits because you don't have all the time. But can you imagine watching this over a period of 4 weeks, as would have been required if they split it up?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a good start.
Yeah, because there's
I would have tapped out after 3 episodes actually, because I'd be like, yeah, it's interesting, but it's like, when is Subaru ever gonna, like, I was enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, but it was like the whole time I'm sitting there waiting. Okay, when is that moment going to happen? And it took until the very last bit for it to happen. So I don't know. I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I don't really feel like anything's happening,
Yeah. One thing I will say that was kind of annoying watching it dubbed is there's a part where a character is singing, and they don't dub the song. Now, okay, fine. They usually don't dub the songs. It seems like they don't bother dubbing songs in anime much anymore. Fine. Except they don't even include subtitles for it, which is annoying because Subaru mentions about how the lyrics are terrible.
Yeah.
So that and some other things just don't. I need to know what's being said, and unfortunately, for some reason, the dub does not include subtitles for the song, which I don't understand. But that's apparently the way. That's how that goes. So I guess is one advantage to watching this sub, because I assume they translated that. Okay, but yeah, just to give in, because I checked the time. At what was happening at this time. If this had been divided into 4 separate episodes, the first episode would have ended around the time that Subaru got seasick. Yeah, mostly a pretty solid episode. Emilia went back to her like older outfit, which is I actually midway through season 2, she kind of you has a different outfit, and I'm like, oh, I like that one more actually. So, but there's that. Yeah, on the whole, pretty solid episode. I'm just glad that we're getting back. I did not dislike season 2 as much as you did, but it really did feel majorly like a detour from the plot, because we set up all this stuff with these other characters and royal selection, and we're like, okay, season 2 has nothing to do with any of that, and now they're all back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still upset though that Cruz lost her memories. Like that, she was one of the best characters in the show, and whenever they like basically took her out, that was disappointing. Of course, Rem too, but yeah, I don't know how she's supposed to compete in this royal selection show if she doesn't even have some of her memories. You know, like who would trust someone who's got amnesia? You know,
I just want to. I still just don't even know what the how the royal selection is even decided. I don't think it's ever been explained. So, like, do they try to impress people and then it all goes to a vote among the populace? Do you have to, like, prove that you've accomplished things more? How is it determined? I don't know. And no one ever seen, and maybe they did explain it and I forgot, but it seems to me that it's never been explained, and weirdly no character seems to have ever asked, so how does this work exactly? It's all one other thing. I guess this is more of a nitpick, but I'm a little trying to figure out what do the other characters think? Where do they think Subaru came from exactly? Because for earlier seasons, I can understand, like the first two, them not like, going too far into his backstory and such. Because, there was more important things happening, but we had a 1-year time skip of that. And so what do they think? Did he ever tell them he was from another world? He makes a remark to Amelia about something like where he says, oh, so it's like Venice from my world. And Leah just says, well, I haven't heard of that place. So does she know? Did he mention that? Because I just don't know if they know that or if they just think he's from some foreign country or whatever still.
Yeah, they kind of seem him oblivious to that. That's something keep in mind, I guess.
Yeah, it just seems like I just am curious exactly what his cover story still is at this point. Because if he just told him, yeah, I'm from another world, I don't know if that's covered by like the fact he can't tell people he can return from death, but I don't know if that affects his ability to tell people he's just from another world or not. So yeah, I don't have too much else to say about things. I will say that when I originally read the web novel, because I wanted to see after the season 2 ended, I wanted to know what happened next. So I did read the web novel for this. I hated Liliana so much, but I was actually okay with her in the anime. So I don't know if she's just portrayed better here, but no, she was kind of fun here. So I'm okay with that so far. Yeah, I guess that's all. That's everything in regards to this. And yeah, anything else to say about it?
No, I don't really have anything.
All right. Well, that's the opening of Re:Zero Season 3, or episode 51, I think its number is. And yeah, it's gotten me interested in this season. I've got some good hopes that this will return more to what season 1 was. Okay, all right, that's all of them. I guess we can give our top 3s or whatever if we want.
Okay.
It's so weird. I said or whatever, as if I could say, well, we could like do a top 4, a top 2.
Yeah. Okay. Third place this week is Yu Yu Hakusho. Both episodes were good, but I'm just going to pick the second one as the third place here. Second place, I will give ReZero. And on top of the charts, again, is Oshinoko for the first time in 3 weeks. So that's where it is.
Well, my first place is pretty easy pick for me. The tricky part is deciding between the second and third. Man, I praise Naruto so much, but I unfortunately can't put it that high. It would have to go into fourth. So for me, I will say something a little. It's the same three as you, just a different order. I'm going to put Oshinoko in third place, Yu Yu Hakusho in second, and ReZero in first. It was
okay.
It was nice to have it back, especially because since season 2 aired and this season, I have seen so much mediocre isekai that ReZero it's just such a relief to have a series where the main character is not completely overpowered. Well, technically we got that with Konosuba, but that's like that's a parody anyway. So just having that it's nice. It's good. So yeah.
Oh, if did I see it right that like a later season of Overlord like changed the name of the series?
I don't think so. Let me maybe one of them added a subtitle or something, but I don't think there was. Let me just see this. Oh, yeah, I'll just look up the episodes more directly.
Must be something I saw that didn't make
it.
I don't know.
It looks to me like they're just like Overlord 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, I must have seen something and got confused. That's all.
There are some movies that have subtitles. There's Overlord the Undead King and Overlord the Dark Warrior. Okay. All right. Anything else to talk about now that we're done with this stuff? Those things?
Yeah. So I've gotten around to finally watching Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War, which if it takes 1,000 years, it might be half as long as One Piece. But yeah, so I watched the first 4 episodes so far. All of them have been very good, which kind of scares me because I'm like, oh man, when is the letdown going to come? You know, like Bleach was so good.
Sorry to interrupt. How many episodes did you say you saw?
4.
Okay, go on. Sorry, I just wanted to double check.
Yeah. So yeah, everything about it so far has been pretty good. Like I said last week, there was a certain character who got killed off, and it was like, of all characters to kill off, it was the least important, least known person. I didn't even remember his name. And but yeah, second episode, we got the return of one of my favorite characters, Lily Ivern, who, if you remember from the original series, she had this passionate hate for Orihime, and like she really hated Orihime, which is why it's always funny that every time she gets defeated, then Orihime has to heal her. I don't know if that's by design, because if it is, that's a brilliant plot. It really shows what kind of character Orihime is, and so I hope that's intentional. because she got beat again, and then Orihime went and healed her in the next episode, or was healing her. It's one of those things where she'll just get forgotten about, like Nell got forgotten about for about uh, almost the entire second half of Bleach, and then she shows up here in episode 2, or episode 3. Which one was it? I think it was 2. Yeah, it had to have been 2 because she had to tell what was going on in Wake of Mundo. Wake of Mundo is basically getting destroyed. Ichigo's like, okay, I'll go save them. I was like, wait a minute. Didn't all those people try to kill you before Ichigo? And he's off to go and save Wake of Mundo. But it's obviously a diversion tactic because now the Soul Society is under attack. But here's the thing that doesn't make any sense, okay? Uriru, I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. I've never been able to pronounce that name. But he was supposedly the last Quincy. Then later on, his father shows up. Oh, he's the last Quincy. And now it turns out we've got like hundreds or at least dozens of Quincy's who have returned and they're coming in to wipe out the Soul Society. And it's like, okay, this is one of the biggest retcons I've ever seen because, like, we had it established that the Quincy's were gone for about 300 episodes, and now all of a sudden, oh yeah, surprise, surprise, they're back. Like, yeah, that seems like a major retcon to me. So, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but the good news is that all the characters are back, and they're all just as enjoyable as they were the first time around. So, yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm really enjoying Bleach, and I'm kind of surprised because I remember how far downhill things went after, around episode 150 or so. So, yeah, these are very entertaining episodes, and I will continue to review them daily on my blog. So if you go to TommyAPhillips.com, you can find my blog on there where I'm going to be blogging and reviewing Bleach until I get caught up with where the anime is now, which is like season 3. There's going to be 4 seasons. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. And for now, though, I really like it. So hopefully it stays that way.
I was just, because I was looking at, I was checking over the episodes of this specifically, and I was noticing the titles are just simply they're written in English. Like normally when you look up anime episode titles, it'll give the original Japanese and an English translation. But this one was just English, whereas your older ones were all like, all these like Japanese ones with the English one. The reason I mention this is because with these, they're actually doing what you see a lot of anime do nowadays, which is they take the episode titles from the chapter names. So, like, episode 1 is called The Blood Warfare. Well, that's the name of chapter 480. Episode 2 is Foundation Stones. That's the name of chapter 485. March of the Star Cross is chapter 489. And by the way, I'm also looking at these and I can see, oh wow, it looks like they basically cover 2 volumes in 4 episodes. So that's like a way faster rate than the anime was going before, which I'm going to assume is probably a reason why it worked a lot better, because it's not, the pacing is faster. It's not, going slower in order to pad things out. So yeah, now we get all the like more original titles of things instead of episodes like let's look at like what the last few episodes titles were before it kind of went on hiatus. There's like things like Desperate Struggle, Byakuya's Troubled Memories, or Ichigo versus Ginjo, Secret of the Substitute Badge, or those sort of things. Like what they do still in One Piece and what they did in Naruto episodes, where they just where they like always normally have like an exclamation, like they say one phrase and then another phrase, like, friend or foe, Ginjo's true intentions. It was like the anime episode title of, all those lengthy, like, nowadays, instead of just having these lengthy episode titles, you have animes with lengthy names. Like, what's the most recent one with a crazy long name? Well, I mean, I guess there's ReZero, because the full title is ReZero Starting Life in Another World, but yeah, that's not quite as crazy as some of these things. You know what they all are, everyone.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, so we know all these crazy titles.
Oh, okay, here's one. This is new. The healer who is banished from his party is, in fact, the strongest. There you go. That's a new series, it looks like. And all these lengthy title series usually tend to be actually pretty popular, at least if you looked at, like, the popular stuff on, say, like, Crunchyroll or whatever. People watch these things. Okay, so yeah, there's all of that. And let's see, I need to see the episode titles. Do we have any of just the utterly crazy titles in some of these? Let's see, there is the Shooting Star Project Zero mix. Everything But the Rain, June Truth. They don't have some of the most crazy ones. Well, I guess there is Marching Out the Zombies. That one's fun. A. That's the name of the episode. Just A.
I assume B is the next episode.
No, it's just A, and then the next one is Kill the King.
What? Okay.
I'm just glancing over episode titles. That stuff I was talking. Oh yeah, that's like part 3. That's the thing that's airing now. So, okay, I think so. Yeah, okay. Glad to hear you're enjoying it. So, I guess I should talk about some of my own thing. I finished rewatching my Shangri-La Frontier because I figured, well, why not? I'm doing it again, Spanish dub, trying to get better at Spanish. Don't know if it's working. This, in retrospect, was not one of the best series to choose from because there are so many like names that are just completely made up. So I'm like, what do they say? And I listen over and over, like, I cannot make this out. Okay, let me pull up the episode with the subtitles and look at that. And then I'm like, oh no, it wasn't a word. It was just an in-game thing. Like, I remember when I was trying to figure out what in the world the character was saying, turns out they were saying Thirdrima, the name of like the third city in the game. So anyway, my main takeaway on that is I think I liked it a good. I liked it more the second time. I don't know if it was because I was binging it or if because I had seen the series and I kind of knew where it was going. But even most of like the slower stuff, I ended up actually liking more the second time around, except for that part where they spent a bunch of the episode on just a character singing while they were forging. That was still boring. I did find it interesting to note that in the Japanese, and they retained this in the Spanish dub, Emil, the little bunny, is constantly ending her sentences by saying chi, but that was not in the English dub. Weirdly, ReZero reverses that in regards to the English and Spanish dub, because they constantly have Beatrice saying I suppose, including in the English dub, and then it's just gone in the Spanish. So, Yeah, I'd say Shangri-La Frontier. Yeah, I liked it more the second time around, and we will be getting back into that series soon-ish. Not right now, but soon-ish. Okay, and I think that's all the stuff I had to say. So, are we both done then?
Yeah, we're finished.
Okay. There was one more thing I wanted to mention. I was just going to say that I wanted to remind everyone of something important. Next week, on November 5th, something really important happens. The first volume of Kagurabachi comes out in English. I don't think there's anything else important happening on that day. I just thought I should let everyone know. Okay. And with that, we're done. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Using your parents' garage to modify a giant robot. Free. New friendship with a pretty girl from outer space. Free. Using your video game skills to cause mass destruction. Free. Saving the world without a clue. Priceless.
Anyone else want some of this?
All new episodes of Megas XLR. Next Saturday night at 9. Come and get it. Only Toonami.
I know how it feels sometimes. The world can look bleak. Times can seem tough. And some days, nothing's gonna go your way. But you can't let that break you down. You can't let that change who you are.
I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a quitter when it comes to my dreams. Nobody puts Dandy in a corner.
You're gonna have to dig deep and find that extra positivity to keep the grind from grinding you.
I may not be as talented as the rest, but nobody has more guts.
Whether that's staying positive when everything seems against you,
No matter how nasty this place may be, you and me are gonna fight our way through it.
or being positive and helping somebody else out.
There's a great power inside you just waiting to be unlocked. Believe in your ability.
There's one thing I'm sure of. Positivity will be your light in the darkness.
You can do it, Goku!
Now, let's get back out there and keep fighting the fight.
I am not about to give up!